This conference will now be recorded.
Before I ask Reverend Cameron that lead us in prayer, I just got a text from Rodney Hester says he's doing an operating room and he will not be here tonight, and I'm trying to find out more. That's all I know right now. Now pray. Please stand.
Pray, Lord, thank you for the privilege to gather tonight. Thank you for Bladen County folks that thought enough of us to put us in the position that we're in. I pray we might be worthy of their confidence by the decisions that we make, the discussions that we have. Thank you for the provision of the funds that you blessed this county with, and I pray we might exhibit, Lord, good stewardship over it. Lord, we lift up Rodney to you, and Lord, you know exactly what's going on with him. And we just thank you for him, his heart, or just his love for this, or the calling you placed on his life to serve as well. And I pray tonight you'd be with the doctors as they work with him, and that you as the great physician might touch him and do that which only you can do, and to help him to know how loved he is and how much appreciated he is as well. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Ellis just walked in. Okay, so we're here for the presentation of the budget. And we've been meeting for the last couple of weeks on this thing, so it was a new experience for me. But all we did was listen to the needs and the requests. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Lisa.
We've made you a nice little booklet. Thank you.
Was it costless?
Well, it's cheaper than buying notebooks, so we decided to do it this way. In the booklet, you'll see on the first section in the booklet, you'll see a summary of all the budgeted department requests, and it's comparing it to the original budget for this fiscal year. Then you'll see the increase and decreases in the columns, and if it's capital or personnel, what the increases, what they asked for in their budget. Then if you'll go past the next little divider, I don't know what color it is because I just bought a pack of construction papers. Everybody's different. So if you go to the next little divider, then you'll see the full budget. And that is in detail. This is by the request only. So this is not anything we worked on or anything because we haven't gotten that far yet. So then if you'll flip over those 228 pages, and you'll see another little divider. And then it's got the capital outlay request, and it's broken down by department. Yes, sir. And then the last divider shows the new positions requested or changes. And we're going to go over all that. So you haven't got to look at it right now, but it's there for you to look at when you want to. You see it, Mr. Crichton?
That's screen back.
As Mr. McGill said, this will be a little light reading for tonight. All right. First thing that I've noticed so far in just looking at the request, that staffing and employee benefits, capital requests, and Medicaid are what's pushing this budget at the time. And like Mr. Peterson just said, today we were actually meeting. We got over our last appointment about 3:30, 3:45, something like that. And so we've met with all the departments now that requested time with us to go over their budgets. So I'm going to jump right in. The requested personnel, governing board's request for budget increase was for the jury board members. Maria had a request from the clerk of court that she felt like they needed to be raised, and so this includes the salary plus the FICA for the 3 employees that come in. They're at just once a year, so it'll be $200 instead of $123. HR has asked to move their part-time position to a full-time position. So you'll see an increase there of $42,425. Elections has removed a technical assistant that they had that was very limited to using another part-time person for that, and that would be almost $14,000 increase in their budget for personnel. I have requested an accounting tech one full-time position in my office of $59,334. Yes, ma'am.
You say Board of Elections is 14,000. Is it the increase in the red or the?
No, they decreased $4,700. That part-time person they had, it was very limited, and they've got somebody else that's working a little bit longer, and that one's going to be the 18. So the net difference would be the two. But it's actually two different people, so I didn't subtotal it.
Okay.
Because one's gone and one's replacing it. But I have requested an accounting tech 2 position, $59,334, and I've asked to reclassify my staff at a cost of $16,654 for the 4 of them. GIS has asked for emergency services PCIT coordinator at a cost, and all these do include benefits, of $67,354.
Here's one question, I know you, when you do the reclassification, what are you doing to this thing?
There's been a lot of workload in our office, and we've been short 2 people now for about 4 years. And our load has gotten heavier and heavier. This is my assistant right here, Janice Hayes, and she can tell you firsthand, there's a lot of things that's been going on that, like EMS, when we went over to the new medical company that does the billing for us, they did a lot of things differently with the billing, and she now gets anywhere from 30 to 50 a day of EFTs that she has to do receipt vouchers for. That used to be one transaction per billing company or per insurance company. Now they're doing them individually. So the workload just alone for her, and she's not supposed to do any of that because she balances the bank statement. So we're trying to get the segregation of duties there. Also, as y'all all know, I've got my 30 years in. I'm not planning to go home. I'm not saying that. But I want to start doing some cross-training in my office with her so she'll understand more about what I do.
So, what I'm saying, the reclassification, is that job description of this basically pay scale?
It's actually with a job description. I have actually sent it to Mr. Hill and had him to look at it, and he sent it back to me and told me, he said, yes, it did qualify.
Structure, what's the restructure?
Yes, sir. See, all of my staff is just listed. Okay, I've got an example. I've got an accounting tech one. Well, they call it a finance accounting tech. She does accounts payable. I have a payroll specialist. I have an auditing accounting tech, and then I have the deputy finance officer. Each one of those, I would like to bump them up a grade, and the reason for that is I want to move them. Right now, they're just listed straight. I want to list those positions as a 1 and move them to a 2.
You want to just do a salary, actually reschedule.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
what you're talking about. Okay.
Question. For the EMS, why are they doing manual bills separately and she has to do that instead of using software?
They hit the bank account on a daily basis. They're through ACH, and each transaction, Dennis, you might can explain this better than I can if you want to, but used to Blue Cross Blue Shield would send in all 9 of y'all at one time. Now there's 1 payment per person on a lot of those. Some of them may have 2. It depends on the EOBs, but most of them are coming in 1 payment per person, not doing a whole bunch of it one time.
No bad.
And it's for all the insurance companies. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it used to be a big stack of checks that Howell would bring in, and it would be 1 receipt feeding in, but now they hit the bank as EFTs individually, so it's not just one thing that we're feeding in.
And you get vouchers that have different numbers, and you have to match them up. It's awful. It's terrible. It's unreal. I don't know how you do it, because I know what you do.
She won't be able to keep doing
A
it.
lot of the time.
Yeah, it's awful.
But my question I'm asking is, if you're doing reclassification, why wouldn't it be that you look at, we're getting ready to do it, and you talking about 30 years, why aren't we looking at a new position, fill a new position?
The first one is an accounting tech 1. and that's to help assist her, and we're gonna make that as accounts receivable. Right now, the accounting tech 2 position, who does accounts payable, she also receipts our money at the front desk. It's what I classify her as, even though it's not a front desk anymore. But I want to make this new person as accounts receivable. That way, that person can take all that off of her, so they can receipt the money that comes in daily, and that'll leave the accounting tech person to stay with accounts payable and get checks out of there in a more timely fashion.
So it's more feasible to do just one person instead of doing two, so
We're-
it's down to.
Yes, we're trying to get back to our segregation of duties. That's one of our things too. We don't want to get written up and audit.
I was wondering why you didn't want to get full staff instead of doing the reclassification.
But right now, I don't have nowhere else to put another one. I can make room for this.
Okay, no problem. I just, you got a way to do it this way. When you say you're two down, so it's fine.
GIS has asked for an emergency services PC IT coordinator at 67,354. Register Deeds has just filled, their 53% position back in the fall, and now she wants to reclassify that person to a full-time. And what her request is for there is one thing that she's bilingual, and she said it really helps out in the office. So when people's in the courthouse, they might actually come in and use her too. So that's one thing she's looking at. Housekeeping has a reduction of $47,000. Kip has been trying to get the floor maintenance guy position refilled. We can't find anybody that wants to take it, so we're going to contract. And right now he's been contracted, I think the group's called Sparkles. And they've done a pretty good job when they come, but he wants to get on a permanent contract for them to keep the floors clean and shine.
They're gonna go up for bids?
Yes, sir. But he's moved that money down to contracted services until he can do the bid process, if this gets approved by the board. The sheriff's department went across the board and they just did a 10% COLA, and that totaled up to $769,514.
10%.
Yes, sir. Just remember now, this is just requested. All this is requested. Emergency Services has asked for a GIS addressing tech part-time, full-time. They have a part-time right now, and it took him almost half a year to get a part-time person to take the job, and he's interested in making that into a full-time position. So that'll be a $35,506 increase into the budget.
Sally, do this now, part of this?
Sally does nothing but addressing for the street addresses. These are for the signs, for the maintenance, for the training center, and other things of that duty.
Oh, he's gonna take that duty from her? She'll continue to do that?
She'll continue doing that.
She gets.
She gets compensated in GIS for that.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
So,
Yes, sir.
Sure, this one, we look at this 10%. Sure, with your staffing levels, are you meeting your staffing? Or, no, we had to do real line budgets and do wages and salaries, makes you competitive with the market. What are you looking at with being competitive?
We were competitive last year. This year, for instance, Ross County, as of July, they're going to $50,000 start pay at our $44,000. So it's just a matter of whether we'll keep our employees or not. I just talked to Columbia County Sheriff on the way up here. They lost 4 employees this week to Ocean Isle because of their pay. So it's just about whether y'all train them or keep them. It's up to y'all.
Okay, that's why I was just asking, how is your staffing now?
We're 11 people short of pension, and we've got a deputy just resigned, got a 2-week notice today. So we're 2 short on the road.
That's 12 people, you down 12 staff at this point.
That's 13.
13.
Yeah, 11 to the.
So what's your full staff, Chair? How much are you?
106.
Yeah.
106?
Yeah.
As you at full capacity, 106.
Right.
And of course, no, sure. So are these folks have been here several years or they're new? The ones that are.
The one that's leaving this time has been here, how long? 3 years.
So when we gave them, not them, but individuals, when they come in, because you train them, prepare them, then we hire them. You can do a lot for a new deputy. So do they have a contract to stay here so many years? No?
No, ma'am. You know, and Doctor, you know, the thing about that is, that's been mentioned before, but think about it. If somebody wants to be here, we just want to stay here under contract and run them around with everybody else. That's what's going to happen.
I would.
And, Eddie Caldwell says he's not sure that we need to enforce that. Nobody ever pushed issue on that. And I just don't think, I would not want a deputy sheriff representing me that didn't be.
I got it. I agree with that now.
Yes, ma'am.
Our pay scale is, you say, the city is Robinson County, and what kind of pay scale is Columbus and?
We shared all that with Charles and Lisa. And, Mr. Caldwell, we were in line last year. But everybody was getting raises, and they've had so many problems in other places, that they came above, not waiting for these budgets to, come around. So I was sure Vernon Wilson this past week, and they got a bump, and so you know, we've already been told they're gonna get it in July. That's, they're starting to pay $50,000. We cannot touch that. There's no way.
I'm just trying to figure out where, when we're doing the budget here, what we're looking at, and try and get some staff to come this way, keep that.
All right, any more questions? Okay, and Animal Control has asked for a second shelter attendant part-time, and that is to help with the alleviation of the duties on weekends because of the cutting back with the overtime for the full-time staff. The health department, in the admin department, they've asked to split an IT person with DSS. They said that the caseload at DSS and the health department has increased so much that the person that's doing it now needed some assistance. And if I'm not mistaken, she's close to retirement as well, so they're trying to get somebody else in there to help out with that. So this health department's increase would be $35,065. They're asking for additional hours for the part-time nurses and the cost, and when we met with Dr. Duncan this afternoon, and she actually said that we moved them to 1,000 hours. They were around 680 to 720 a year. And she said that if she doesn't need them, she's not going to use them. But she said right now it's been a big help. So that's $47,309. Environmental health, as you know, we've added 2 more staff members out, cut them up to a total of $134,385 with benefits. So that's why you see that big increase, even though it's already been approved this year. Family planning has asked for a physician extender 2, and that's part-time, and that's going to be shared with maternal and child health in her department. And there's 32,000, and it's 16 and 16, so it's about 75,000, 76,000, somewhere around there. She's also asked for a second lab assistant part-time. Right now, right now this year she's had someone out on leave, and so that's put extra burden into the office. They were, I think she said they were on maternity leave. Is that correct? And so that took them somebody out of the office for 8 weeks or so. So they left them short-staffed with having a lab assistant in there to do the work. And they were pulling it from another person in the office, which that took her away from her other duties too. So that's the reason she's asking for a part-time to share with. That will be in maternal, the family planning, maternal, child health, and communicable disease. Yeah. So that would be, $15,000 or so. Then you'll see in care management, she's asked for a PHN, the PHN 2 that we had in place requested to go part-time. So she's removing the salary from the position for full-time and putting it into part-time. And she's been that way for almost a year now, if I'm not mistaken. But we didn't reclassify the money until this year.
Her salary for the full-time was 93, and then she's part-time 73. What's the difference? I don't understand that.
Her salary is not 90. That's the benefits.
And now she's gonna be full-time.
No, she's leaving full-time, going to part-time.
Part-time, right?
But see, all the benefits are there. That's just the FICA because you got to compare the two. There's 28% benefits associated with a full-time employee.
But I know, but this part-time though is kind of high, isn't it? Or she'd be, it's not talking about half-time then. It could be three-quarters.
It's up to that 1,000 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then she's asked to reclassify the health educator 1 to a health educator 2. That's $10,398. So her increase in the budget would be $289,627. The Veterans Officer has requested to go from the 1,000 hours as a part-time employee at $82,000 to an 80%. I mean, that would put him to a, I wrote that down backwards, y'all, I'm sorry. That's, would be $82,126, and the 80% would be $39,251 as part-time, so it would be an increase of $42,875.
Are we gonna hire somebody else who can do claims, who's certified?
Right
I know
now,
somebody's certified, he's not certified.
he's working on getting his certification.
I know it, but we can get a full-time, a certified person there. If we didn't need a full-time, why did we hire a full-time?
He just went to school. I don't know if he's got any do you know if he's got any certification? I thought he
No,
had.
yes, now we've hired.
Not when he was hired, he did not. He's got it now.
But we need somebody now. We have no one that's helping our veterans right now. I'm doing, trying to help the claim.
He's here 3 days a week. Matter of fact, he came to work today because there was a lady who couldn't meet any time this week except for Friday, and he's not there on Friday, so he came to work today and met with her.
Okay. And so he wanna go part-time.
He wants to go to 1,560 hours. It'd be 80%.
So what would be his annual salary?
Right now, it's just 1,000 hours. He's a part-time employee. I got it written up wrong backwards, I'm sorry.
Couldn't work.
I ain't talking about it. Okay, I'll talk about
Is that one that we get in and match from anywhere? Or we have to pay it straight out, the $1,000
it.
hours?
We get benefits.
The 1,000 hours means we don't offer them benefits. If you work over 1,000 hours, you're supposed to require, at that point, they're eligible for retirement.
What's the total salary gonna be?
126.
That's with benefits.
That's with benefits.
I just thought one time with this stipulation that that person only could work 1,000 hours. That way.
Yeah.
If we had them as a part-time employee, that's correct. They say that would be up to the department, to y'all and everybody else, as the board would be eligible to put him to a full-time position or a 80% employee. Bladen County is, from what I understand, Bladen County is the only county in the state that doesn't have a full-time veterans office. I think he's certified now. Yeah, this is just request now, but this is not something we're.
He's certified.
I know he's military.
Well, you don't have,
I know, I'm just saying, I know he was a military service member.
I know he went to class, and I thought he went and took his exam, and I thought he was certified. We'll check. Okay, in Division on Aging, we moved a transportation specialist during this year, in 23-24, from full-time to part-time, so you'll see that 50,000 changed to 18,000. And then you'll see that was with benefits and everything. And then the administrative assistant, we moved a part-time to a full-time. We combined a position that we had, I'll back up again. That part-time we're putting the part-time in this year at 57,000. And we're taking out the 50% person we had that was shared with registered needs before we changed that one to a 53%. I'm gonna have to get my notes better.
When you get finished with it, will we be able to get a total new request?
You'll see it at the bottom. Oh, the number of full-time, I haven't done that, but I can get it for you.
I want to see how many more people we talking about adding to the staff.
Okay. And most of these positions, they're already in place now, like especially division, they're not.
The Division on Aging, they are.
Okay.
So that was already been changed in this year's budget. Okay, Extension has asked for the person right now that's a support specialist is part-time, making $17,440, going to full-time. And she said that they really needed him. Matter of fact, this past year, they actually contracted him through First Source as a part-time contracted boy to keep him under his 1,000 hours. So that was a request from her. Beaver Management has asked to go from a half man to a full man.
Yeah, we need a full man.
I know, that looks
We need
funny.
a full man.
That looks really funny, doesn't it? But that's an increase in their budget of $54,000. The library has asked if I to reclassify a library assistant 1 to a 2. We did, I think there was 3 we did last year. That's like a branch manager type, person. And that's only gonna cost us $2,286. DSS has asked for several. We met with Vicki this afternoon, and after going through, her request, we noticed there's some mandated. Most of these are not mandated. So, but I will give y'all an up-to-date list on what is mandated, when I get through the books.
Are these some of the ones that they already gave us advanced budget to put them into place? This coming through that part of it? 13 full-time?
These are new employees.
These are new employees.
That's not the one the state funded the Medicare. That's not the Medicare piece.
They're new employees.
We hired, 7 this year. She's got 4 in here that are reclassified that she's asking for, but some of these are mandated by the state.
They were mandated.
The ones we did, yes, those were mandated. Some of these are not. But you'll see the whole list there. She has asked for a reclass on the accounting tech one from a 21A to a 23A. You'll see the change there. And then the personnel tech, she's asked for it to go full-time instead of part-time, so you'll see a big change in that. The other ones in there are all new positions. And then on the next page, you'll see where she's asked for a reclass on 3 workers. And I think 2 of these positions are currently filled, but you'll see the increase there. The lead worker for adult Medicaid to supervisor and the lead worker for family and children Medicaid to supervisor. And then the NEMT family and children IMC to adult Medicaid. She said they saw where they needed it more in adult Medicaid than they needed in family and children.
I mean, how would this have an impact on being able to satisfy the citizens when they walk in and everything? Would that have an impact on that?
She said it had to do with the caseload. That's why she's asking for a lot of this.
The supervisor will still have cases?
Yes. But you'll see, and I've estimated a reimbursement of about 40%. I talked with them this afternoon, and we're saying with these positions, because some of these positions are 100% county because they're under a block grant. And that's what I've got to get ready for y'all because I didn't have time to get it together for that.
That was the first thing, because some of them we get a compensation half and they pay
Right.
half.
See, some of them are related to Medicaid, and Medicaid right now, and I've got Vicki and Cheryl checking it, because they talked about last year changing it back to 50-50 reimbursement. Cheryl's telling us it's still at 75-25, so we want to make sure that that's correct. So I'm concerned about that right now, so we're checking on that.
For her, as with this kind of staff, you need to be telling us what you can do with this kind of staff.
That's $823,000 increase, and the reimbursement we're looking at could be about $329,000, so it'd still be $500,000.
Where all that staff is coming from, where's the funding come for this much staff? Where that much
If I could
funding?
ask, I just picked one, big romantic. I mean, that's $108,000 position. If this is the other half, 54,000.
Now, that's what the budget's gonna increase. Right now, we're paying, there's 100 is going, we're paying right now, yeah. Well, they've got other things in there besides just the, salary. The salary, I can't remember what it was, and it's not broken. Wait a minute, maybe, let me look, it may be broken down, I can't remember.
Cost of the county. They need another.
The salary is $68,647.
Then you add benefits.
That's including everything, because that's a contract employee.
And the veterans, that's 82. What? That's all salary?
That's with benefits. Mhm.
You know, the only reason I asked that, I had the pleasure of working with Larry Hamlin for years in elections, veterans, mapping, and signage. 4 departments he ran. I don't think his salary was that when he did all 4.
The salary for that position at 80% of it would be $57,111, $112, and then the benefits with it, including insurance.
That's the only position he had to carry, right?
Yes, sir.
was another one I never going for administration. We had that figure, and you're looking at an increase of 1509. Is that including the
Which one are you looking at?
administration? Is that including the manager's salary and Maria's salary? What salary is in?
Where are you looking at?
At the very top of it, you went
Are you-
government,
Oh, okay.
governing board, then you went to administration.
You're talking about where it says 362,769 is requested for governing board? Is that, you're looking at this page?
Then we got 286, 379 for administration.
Right. Administration is 83% of Maria's salary and the county manager. Governing board pays 17% of her salary and then all of y'all.
That's,
Plus, there's a whole lot of other expenses in
so
there.
there's no increases in that to administration. We don't-
Not at the time, nothing except for, the Board of Elections. I mean, not, the jury council, the jury commission.
Why was that changing?
Okay,
County manager's, salary, what we looking at on that?
right now, we've rolled it forward till y'all find a replacement, and then we know what we need to budget for.
So right now, we talking about what, 140,000?
Let me see that.
The administration. So I'm trying to figure out, that's why we're looking at.
146,464. All right, EMS has asked for a weekend shift differential for his employees because it's having more difficulty getting people to want to work on weekends. So with that being said, the general fund's request for budget for personnel is $1,934,370.
Increase,
Yes, sir.
1 million, how much?
$1,934,370.
The first sheet you gave us won't show that really.
It does, it shows a breakdown, but it's going to, when you look at the bottom figures on that first page in there, Mr. Cogdell, it's gonna show 2,263,000. But if you take that and add and subtract the 329 from it that I'm showing as a revenue source for DSS, it comes back to that 1,934,000.
329, where is that?
It's right here on the last page of this. You'll see a total at the bottom for general fund.
I got that.
And then solid waste has asked for a landfill attendant for LCID site. That's gonna be 50,401. And he said that was mandated, so I don't.
And all this would be reoccurring costs, right?
Yes, sir. Any more question on the personnel?
I got one.
Sure.
Population going down and expense going out of the budget. I don't hate, I mean, just get people, where's the money coming from?
That's what we got to work on.
I want to ask a question. When some of y'all guys went on the board, I think Charles was on here, Mark, you might have been on here. When we did the 8% tax increase, bills to jail. And I've asked this question before. We are grabbing some of the revenue from the inmates to handle the jail expense to help balance it out. But at the same time, we raised taxes 8%, 8% tax increase. That was supposed to cover that expenditure. I'm trying to figure out if we raise taxes to cover that. That was the intent when they told us we had to raise the 8% to cover the jail expenditure to pay for the jail. But we making revenue off of the inmates, and then sheriff is coming in here asking us for money when his jail is making enough money to pay his guys out. Why are we having to reshift money so much? I'm just asking, why is the shifting there? Why aren't we just doing the 8% that's allotted for the jail that we took the taxpayers and we looked at what it's going to generate, and then turn around and let sheriff sit there and suffer and everybody suffer when we kind of think we double dipping a little bit?
We've done a lot of increases over the last few years, as well as you know.
That's what I'm saying, but we took the money and we spent it in a different direction.
And
than what it was intended for.
No, for Mr. Cogdill, what this board decided to do a long time ago, when we started doing the inmates and stuff, we would take as much money as that we could and make our payment each year, and the other money went into the general funds, and
That's what we did, right?
that's what we did.
That's what I'm asking, but does it generate enough for us to offset some of these expenditures? That's what I'm saying. Is that generating enough?
Right now, he's got it allocated to go out, and Sheriff, correct me if I'm wrong, he had to hire 8 new staff at the detention office at that particular time when we did this. We're paying their salary out of that, we're paying some supplies out of that, we're paying the bond payment out of that. And this year, with the uncertainty of what the inmates were gonna do, we've lowered the revenue source, so the general fund had to kick in money this year to help offset it. But thankfully, right now, we have balanced that back out.
The 8% tax thing you did, it wasn't enough to cover the expenditure. That's what you're saying.
Not with the ongoing, no, sir.
So when you got all these new pieces of components added into it.
But you look at this increase alone just for 10% and what we've done, 12%. 5 and that's 6, is that what we did? We're rough off there. And the bond payment is $947,000 a year.
The only reason I'm asking the
That's
question, I remember Charles, like you said, we're gonna
70.
take the money and we're gonna put it back in the general fund. That's where it's supposed to go.
I think if I'm not mistaken, when we did that during budget time, and I think Mr. Peterson hit it on the head with that, was we used it to help redo those increases because he was generous enough to let us use that money to help with the bond payment.
I'm just trying to figure out, with money being generated and we put some in there, and what we had allocated at the time was to pay for the jail. And then I'm looking at the revenue.
This next slide will
That
tell you,
8% has been long gone.
Yeah.
What holds the jail?
they moved into 17.
17, I believe.
7 years old, we've been giving pay raises more than the 8%.
So I'm just saying, when we went in and we had to face all the tax bills, 8% increase, we kind of prorated stuff and look at how costs will get affected. And I look at those shift gears on it. And I'm just asking, with the revenue on it, where is it going? How has it been spent?
Well, this slide right here will tell you a lot. As you recall, and Greg has said this several times, that retirement was 4.89% for 30 years. Well, you notice this year on general employees, it's at $12.90. Next year, it's going to $13.65, and they're saying that it's going to probably go up to about 17% before they stop. So law enforcement this year is $14.04, and that's next year it's going to $15.04. I would have given you a dollar figure right now, but since we were still meeting, I hadn't got all my good figures in place. And you'll see on the state health plan, and we're going to Aetna starting in January. So I don't have a figure for what that's going to be starting in January, so we're doing an estimate right now. But the budget, when we adopted it, was $7,297.38 a person. We had to amend it to $7,659.36, and we're projecting $8,399.22. And we hope that's enough. So that's what we're looking at right now with just the benefit side. Okay, and here's a good wish list. So there's a bunch of capital requests, and you'll see in here. And remember, capital items and one-time items is what you can use from fund balance. So that's one thing you can think about it that way if you need to. Elections has asked for office furniture and scanner and postage machine for $20,000, and they need two. If it was 2 or 4, the DS. Ma'am? DS 200. I know, is it 2 or 4? 4. DS 200 voting machine. IT is working on doing an off-site backup, and the initial setup for that's going to be about $10,000. Beverly's trying to do.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
Initial setup for on-site backup is $10,000. That's all, and that covers our redundancy and everything.
That doesn't cover the annual expense. That's just the one-time setup fee.
Okay.
Sorry. We'll show that in the budget.
Okay.
Central Services asked for a whole list. You can see all those. He's asked for some more automatic flushers for the jail. The animal shelter has asked for, in central services, you'll see it again in animal control, because when I met with Dr. Duncan today, we noticed it was listed twice, and I had already put it in here, so, they want to repaint the lobby, bathrooms, and offices. Elections asked for repainting lobby, work area, and bathrooms, and to remove the old, bay door. Central services asked for the building maintenance buildings, and they want the Echo B thermostats in all buildings. And then he's asked for the courthouse boiler and chiller to be replaced, and the electrical system, that electrical services down there in the boiler room. They're trying to get, when he was telling us about it, he was talking about getting the generator where it would run the courthouse and not just these few rooms down here. Motor pool has asked for a lift for large ambulances, because right now they can't bring them in and go under them. The sheriff's office has asked for a tractor with implements for the training center. And here's another one. He's asked for the tractor, and so has emergency services. So we're going to have to see which one is the best bang for the buck, I guess.
They can share it.
They've asked for patrol cars and a jail that's replaced the HVAC systems for the detention center. He's also asked for video surveillance system upgrade. That's not only that's for all the cells and for the magistrates and for the visitations. Is that correct?
Does the ARPA funding have anything to do with that?
So we only did is those, 5 or 7 cars, 2 years ago? And then we now rotate the next one. How many talking about?
This is 10.
10. And,
remember last year he pre-ordered because they were going to get rid of them and had them on. So we went ahead and gave him the money at the end of last year, and then we budgeted the rest of them for this year. So we had to put in, I think it was 120 this year, but he needs the full 10 full 10 vehicles for next year.
These old ones he needs replaced, not anything.
Right.
And that will his fleet well. Every year you probably need to do it again, a couple more years to catch them up, you think?
We were on a cycle of doing 10 a year.
The jail detention HVAC system, that 939, is that, what kind of warranty was on those things, Chair?
The problem with that, Mr. Caldwell, when we ordered, one went down today, and we ordered it, it takes 1 year to get here. So instead of all 6 of them, we would propose having 2, replace 2 per year, $313,000. Because, as you know, we're regulated with the heat and air, and if they go out, we have to close pod down. To close pod down, I mean, we send our inmates somewhere else for a year. So instead of all 6 of them, I would propose we replace 2 each year until we get them all replaced. Then time to get through, it's time to start all over again.
So that's what kind of warranty on that thing? 3 years or 4 years?
There's one we should have never got to begin with, but we did. I'm just telling you.
I thought there was some kind of warranty on them things. I thought they had a long warranty.
I warranted out.
I thought they had a 10-year warranty on them. They got 5. What kind of warranty on them?
They don't have, I'm not sure.
I was trying to figure out what they're on the warranty. Some might be placing HVAC system be going out that fast.
Okay. If y'all recall that we've given money for Viper radios, that they've got to be in place by July 1st of 2025, and Jeff said this would be the final payment that would take care of those to get everything up and running. Then you'll see animal control has asked for the paint in the lobby and a horse trailer. Emergency services asked for several things involving the training center, the classroom training tables, the recording and streaming for classrooms, storage cabinets, exterior windows for the kitchen, tree removal, that's for 12 trees, not just for one. Sidewalk repairs, and there's the tractor with attachments, and the 911 addressing shop and emergency management warehouse that he's asked for. Building inspections is asked for an extended cab truck.
911 addressing shop, EM warehouse. What do you mean?
He wants to make get a new shop for the signs, to build the signs in, and for the warehouse for emergency management.
So they're gonna construct a metal building or something on it.
Not sure what he's looking at. He just came up with a price and said this is what he's asking for.
What question I'm asking?
I understand that. I mean,
Does that building, is just,
Remember, this is just a request.
why not?
We'll get more information.
that building for this service only is gonna generate any kind of revenue?
They charge for road signs if it's for private signs. But there's, I think it's was it $35 a sign? And what he said?
Never did them.
I think it's
Talking about the
35.
whole emergency service building out there at the old Brook system, does it generate any kind of revenue? Or do we get any kind of funds allocated or grants? We don't get nothing out of it.
We get grants once in a while. He just got a $10,000 electric car battery grant.
I just wonder, do we get the money to operate? Cause I see like it's a whole lot of uses in that building out there. I'm just trying to figure out, anybody generating revenue?
Was $200 for
$240.
That's how much bringing in a year.
That's what I'm trying to figure, is generating that revenue out there, that place out there. Then you see these guys out there, a bunch of cars, you know, everybody in there, I said, good Lord. We need to do something, we need to start showing the field something for that place out there, God, no.
All right, forestry has requested another truck for this year at $35,600. That's included in their total allocation. Health Department had asked for an ice machine, a water bottle filling station, new user sign. Dr. Duckett told us today that a new sign would cost about $2,000 to $3,000 more than repairing the one they've got. So, and then they asked for some new cars, and the cars will be coming from their vehicle fund, so that won't be a county expense. Division on Aging is looking at a new van to do for Meals on Wheels and some cars for the in-home aides. Parks and Rec is asking for, with that Partis grant, the money was not set aside through the Partis to do the new asphalt on the tennis courts. They won't do any repairs, so he's needing to get those done. He said that was his number one goal, was to have those done. And number two would be the soccer goals. And then he's got a football scoreboard, bleachers, a turf tank painter, and that's one of 3 payments, and that does include the paint. And the storage room at the county park. Library has asked for ADA compliant circulation desk with storage, an exterior gate for the courtyard, and exterior paint and for the building and lawn sign. And then BCC has asked for ADA compliant door openers, campus-wide emergency management. Some of this stuff is rollovers from this year that they haven't gotten to, and I'll identify all that for you at a later time. Currently, this is their list. Complete the roof renovations, cosmetology roof replacement. Sir? Oh, facility master plan, a motor vehicle a remaining bridge replacement, replace campus drainage systems, replace common area and office floors, and a security upgrade. Bladen County Schools, right now, all I've got in there, because I haven't received the request for the coming year, is we have allocated sales tax for capital outlay of $878,927. And I think Mr. Lennon's on the agenda for tonight, asking for part of the request for this year. So EMS has asked for mobile data terminals, replacement of stair chairs, EMS building sidewalk repairs, parking lot repairs, and he's not asking for paving, he's asking for more gravel and stuff to put in where the holes are in the parking lot. He's not asking for paving. And storage building, a CPR device, QRV, and a Type 3 ambulance. And he said right now, if we could get that on order, it'd probably be 24 months before we could get it.
Is it the same request, on emergency services, the page, 2 pages in front? It says sidewalk repairs, it's the same stuff.
Different places.
Different buildings.
On that Type 3 ambulance, is that, we agree what, to replace them every year with 1 or 2? Then we have some type of.
We have still right now, I know we've got one on order that's supposed to be here in about 12 months.
But we know we've been budgeted to have 2 a year.
That's the reason he wanted to go ahead and get this one in for next year so we could get another one in circle. Because he's right now, he said it was 24 months out.
I was trying to keep it, but we had them breaking down, and then we agreed to keep them, slow sharp with it.
And if you'll notice, the general fund, this is almost $6 million in capital improvements. Okay. All right, I'll go through these next ones pretty quick. The Bladen County Schools have not sent me in their request, but right now, just to keep it on your radar, we're sending them over $8 million in current expense. And their sales tax plans for next year would be a total of $1,896,000, and it's broken down into debt for future. That's the difference between what we're paying in their, Tar Heel school debt money now and balance is due. Because they're the 900,000 we're still keeping, so that's where they're coming from. This is, number 13 of 15 payments on the QSAP bonds, so that, and all their sales tax pays for that. And their capital needs will be the $878,927. Then the community college has asked for an increase of $191,286 over the 23-24 budget of $1,466,117, and their capital request, as you can see in the capital outlay, was $520,400. Yes, sir.
On the school thing, remember when Greg talked to us about it cheaper to borrow the money to pay off some of this stuff? Because the interest rate was so low at the time.
It's not now.
Now, so that deal is off and borrowing money, not doing it.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I remember we talked about it.
The water district, their annual debt service is $1,238,833, which is 39.4% of their budget. They have requested automatic flushers for the water lines, a commercial Z-turn mower, a mower for an excavator, and a half-ton pickup. Solid waste, you can see their budget requests are $3,874,000. They have requested the following capital of preparation for relocating the LCID landfill. The state's come down and told them that they've got to do some more work with that and prepare for that. They've asked for a semi-truck. That may be able to be taken off. They're testing one now, and if it's working as good as they say it's working, then we will get to remove that $50,000 because they're going to buy that one. I think it was going to be for $28,000. He's needing a used-up truck for the LCID, replacing some compactors, containers, dumpsters, and then he needs a wire welder for the shop. All that comes up to $338,300. We did talk to Mr. McClary about this as well. We may be looking at possibly having to increase their fees because right now, if we do everything that's in their budget, they would use more than they've got in the bank. So it's kind of getting worrisome. All right. That's what I've put together of what the total requests have been. And if you want to flip through and read through what the actual requests are, they're all identified.
What's the fund balance?
The fund balance? We have $27 million at the end of June that's unassigned. Mm-hmm.
It was at 16.
It was at 19 last. No, it was at 19 last year, and it went up to 27. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of stuff that is right now currently assigned. That's the reason it didn't flow it up as much as we thought. And Brian's gonna go over that tonight when he does the presentation.
We said this minute ago you had $8 million that you were looking at spending for needed things that people request.
Yes, sir. If you look at that first page, that first section in there, it shows the total at the bottom of $7,270,000, and that $995 is the total increase over.
That's not total,
No, that's nothing. Right.
That ain't the pay raise for nobody else.
I understand that. Okay. I'm talking about with this straight, what you're looking at for this.
More than $1 million, what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, I
Yeah. This here shows $7 million, but we've also got in fund balance coming for this year to do what was the capital we did. We did $2.1 million in fund balance. So you add that back, and right now we would be almost $9 million over balance.
$9 million over.
Before we do anything, we haven't cut anything out of capital, personnel, or anything at this point. This is just what the department's requested.
From revenue generated into taxes and everything, Lisa, this your speculation, what would it look like if we start giving out substantive increases? What would revenue generated taxes?
I don't know at this point because Renee hasn't got all the new taxes keyed in for this year.
We can work through this budget before we worry about that.
I'm just trying to figure out where, we sitting down here, everybody comes looking for money.
Don't need an answer to that.
Everybody looking for money. I'm trying to figure out where the money gonna come from, but we sit out and get this feeling about where the money gonna come from, like Ray was saying, well, tax bills, where we get the money from? We'll just do it and let them see where we get the money.
I think we really need to bring in some more residents.
Where you gonna put them? They got no house.
Well, I know, but that means we have houses. That's exactly right. You gotta have some houses. Gotta bring
It's different. But is EMS, when that kind of increases, I thought they were doing all that big increase because the Medicare thing was coming in, Medicare.
Okay, expansion.
Transformation was coming in, that's not covered on none of that.
EMS is doing fairly well on their revenues. This new billing company is actually collecting more revenues than the previous one. And we haven't written off any bad debt with them right now as of current.
But I thought we could be generating a little bit more money, especially go over there and reach out, and take care of DSS over there. Help some of those expenditures, she want that kind of staff, give us maybe that kind of money.
Any other questions?
But you're gonna let us know, because some of her staff will be mandated.
Some
So-
were mandated.
Yeah.
There wasn't many, but there's a few.
13, mandate no 13.
Entertained motion to adjourn.
Hello.
Okay.
All right, motion by Mr. Cameron, second by Mr. Britt, any discussion? On favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:30.